Welcome to Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush.
And welcome back to the Buckle Up Podcast Universe with Brandon Rush and Mama Rush. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm actor Brandon Rush. I've been in 80 television shows and movies, some of the biggest shows that have ever come out in the last 15 years, like Blue Bloods, Criminal Minds, Ozark, Scandal, Power Book 2, Mayor of Kingstown. There's a lot more, but that's just what I can think about off from my top of my head. Beauty and Black even. And I launched the Buckle Up Podcast Universe April 9th of 2025 with my mom, who is a pharmaceutical sales specialist. We have done 152 episodes. We are in 82 countries and 964 cities around the world. And what makes this show so special is that we bring in guests from all over the place. So from people that I work with in my movie business, directors, casting producers, casting associates, writers, directors, actors, actresses, voiceover artists, to people in different career fields. My military friends have been on here. We've had veterans on here. We've had doctors, lawyers, professors, small business owners, CEOs, nurse practitioners, nurses, respiratory therapists, and many different positions around the world in those different fields. And hopefully, our goal is to educate the youth and give them options of things that they can do for careers. And we have people available they can learn from. So with that being said, today we're going to have on casting director Jess Greenberg. Is a casting director who understands the film world from the ground up. She's worked both independently and alongside fellow casting directors with credits spanning docu-drama reenactments to major studio films. After I'm not sure if she wants personal life in here, but let's see here. Jess began to notice strong similarities between casting and dating, from chemistry and rejection to authenticity and presentation. At her core, Jess is passionate about creating an environment where performers feel safe enough to do their best work, and she continues to bring care into today's self landscape. We are about to have her on in just 1 second.
Sure.
Awesome. Jess, how are you doing today, first off?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and meet you and all of it.
Okay, awesome. My mom's not going to be here today. She's out getting her hair done. So she won't be here today.
Respect.
Yeah, I know. Right? So it's gonna be just me, if that's okay.
Absolutely. I was looking forward to meeting her, but this is great nonetheless.
Okay, yeah, she was sad she couldn't be here. She didn't want to say that. She's like, Brandon, I'm not gonna be able to make it home. I said, Mama, I understand. I think I'll be able to handle it, but we'll have to have you back then.
Sure.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Well, Jess, it's all about you. This is literally your story today. We want to learn about you, how you got into the field that you're working in, but your life. I want not just our audience of we have 19 million in 82 countries and 964 cities around the world as of today on 6 continents. So it's all about you. Awesome.
Cool.
So Jess, start from wherever you'd like, my dear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like a quick recap of how I got into casting was really through production. And I started out like working as a production assistant and then through that found casting and fell into casting. So I worked internally for a production company for a long time. And then I really just fell into that lane and went off on my own and started working on all kinds of projects. So, and then within that time, dating, married, divorced, all the good stuff, COVID.
Yeah.
And and now just also like actors figuring out there's so many changes in the industry and for casting as well. I don't know if actors realize how similar we are in terms of like work things and how you have to balance it and it's not guaranteed ever and so just like honestly navigating all of that and the changes and keeping up and everything. So yeah, I don't what.
Okay, no, you're good. Yeah, you're good there. I'm gonna take it. I'm glad you said that intro. I'm gonna take it back a little bit. Let's talk about just growing up. Where are you from originally for our audience as well?
Yeah, I'm born and raised Montreal, Quebec,
Really?
Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, to Anglo parents. So there is a large English community in Montreal. We are a bilingual city though.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up like in the suburbs. Close family. I have an older sister.
Mhm.
Parents are divorced. But now we all get along. My
That's good.
my mom and dad are friends, and my stepmom as well. And we're all. I went for dinner with them last
Okay.
Saturday. My dad, my mom, and my stepmom, and me.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's awesome that you guys still have that
yeah,
family unit.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's great, and I have a niece and nephew who I'm very close with, and I
Yeah.
love so much.
Are,
And yeah,
are you the cool auntie?
obviously.
Okay, I just had to check. Because if you have a sibling, so like I'm the cool uncle, and there's no denying that, even for my friends' kids. So I always try to find out if you're the cool auntie or not. But you kind of seem like it.
Yeah, no, I definitely am.
Yeah. Okay.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, no, they're awesome. They're so fun. And yeah, we do great things together. They are getting into social media and posting, and even
Interesting.
my nephew got a role on a TV show.
Oh wow.
So he did some acting
Okay.
and on something I didn't cast even, but I did help him with his audition, but he
Oh,
got that
amazing.
fair and square.
Okay.
Um, and yeah, so he was on that show. And my niece also, they did some auditions, commercial auditions. They're getting into it slowly.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll, pursue it long
Absolutely.
term, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
when
that's great. You're able to help them out with that.
yeah, it's fun.
I
It is a
bet.
lot of fun.
What's kind of here's a question to ask along those lines. What kind of pointers do you give them? Because obviously rejection's a thing, and from you being on the casting side of things, you're able to give them information they don't normally see. So, what's kind of information that you kind of give them or help them out with, which is also going to help our audience that is in that field?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like my sister was the one obviously who took them to, they had some like in-person callbacks.
Yeah.
And like for commercials, they're starting, like they're building different families, right? So
Uh,
like they're seeing, like, I remember my sister telling me like they're seeing different like moms, grandmothers, kids. And like when my niece was there, there wasn't really anyone that was like a match for her.
really?
Like there wasn't anyone that sort of looked like it could be her mother or her grandmother. So at that point, they felt a little like discouraged. They're like, why
Yeah.
am I here?
Hmm.
Because there's no one really that could match her. I was like, well,
Yeah.
you never know. Maybe availability wise, those moms or grandmothers weren't available for this callback with her, but like, they want to work with her, see if, she's capable and then they'll fit inside the puzzle. But it was a good reminder in that, like, again, it's not because she didn't do a good job, it's because they couldn't find a match to fit her.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and yeah, I just try to have fun with them with their auditions because like that is the work
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So just
Absolutely.
have fun with that and let it go. But
Okay.
yeah, the in-person callbacks definitely add more pressure and stress and
Yeah.
yeah, I think they handled it pretty well.
Okay. Will you give me 1 second? For some reason, my Netflix decided to start playing and I can hear it in the background. Let me just
Sure.
cut that off real quick. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I'm back. Sorry. That was like the strangest thing. I don't even know how it started off.
You're
Um,
good.
I'm back. Yeah, I
Nice.
was thinking about what you were saying with the how she went in there and there was no one that really matched up with her on that.
Yeah.
One day there was a military commercial and I went and worked for them. I helped the casting office that day, helping them kind of drill people because it was me filming at this base, Camp Pendleton, which is in San Diego.
Yeah.
And they it was supposed to be like action sequence, helicopters flying around, there's gonna be gunfire and all. It was for USA, it was for like a USAA commercial. And I remember sitting
Okay.
there, there were so many people that were good because I always curious how the commercial side of things ran. I mean, I'm curious about the casting side of things all the time, but I got to see how, like, for the commercial side, which almost be like producers too, in a way, where there were people that had no idea how close they got to getting it. But some person on the couch, on this couch here, was like, oh, yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know about that. And in my heart was breaking because I'm like, wow, like these people depend on these jobs over
Hmm.
here. And because you don't feel a certain type of way about this one person, or, oh, yeah, I thought this person was kind of like that. Like, it's a game. It seemed like a game almost. And it was really unfortunate because I'm like, man, dude, there's people out there that are so talented that end up giving up and they never realize how close they got through that
Right.
process with that. But one thing I do love, and I always tell actors this, and I tell people I work with, is like the casting directors, the casting producers, the casting assistants and associates are on your side. Like they're
Hmm.
the ones that really fight for you and continue to bring you back in. If I can't tell you, like my career is where it is because of casting directors, casting assistants, casting assistants, who have literally like it got to a point where they'd be like, pull me aside and be like, dude, you're doing every single thing right. Don't stop. Like you're just doing
Yeah.
people stuck in their ways. We want you to keep going. Like we're gonna keep calling you until they get it that you're the guy because we know it. So
Yeah.
I
And
appreciate
you're
people like you.
reliable, trustworthy. That's the whole thing. You come in, you do a good audition, then you go to set and you deliver and you're great on set. And
Mhm.
that's what like travels, you know? It's like, yes, let's bring him in. He does a good audition and he's great to have around on set. And yes, your credits speak to that. Like
Yeah.
it's unreal, like all everything you've booked. So um absolutely, like we are 1,000% on the actor side,
Uh-huh.
and it is true, like it could be like the silliest thing, but yes, like we're always casting, yes, the person, but also the larger environment, the family, the friend group, you know, different
Yeah.
archetypes. And listen, casting and even like someone from the ad agency in commercial. I actually don't work too much in commercials, to be
Okay.
honest, but that was just the example through my niece. But you know, everyone could be on the same page, and then the client will come and be like, no, 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 I like that person, and then it's like,
Yeah.
really? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like shocking, and you're like, no, 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 but like we worked with them, we met them, I'm telling you, you know, and sometimes you don't even have the chance to have those conversations, but
Yeah.
when you do, yeah.
I believe it. And here's a question: have you ever had in your time casting? Have you ever had something where a person was called in for the job, and not to scare anybody out there, and I don't want to get you in trouble either, but like where they called in for the job and they ended up messing up or something or anything like that, or where they had to be switched out?
Yeah, not necessarily on set,
Yeah.
but you know, so many things happen, you know, even casting leads and then having a chemistry read when you think like you have, you know, and like
Ooh.
doing like the chemistry reads with like their partner. And
Yeah.
then in the chemistry read, because they went straight from a meet, like they didn't audition. So at the chemistry read, like the directors were like, no,
Ooh.
like this isn't jiving at all, and we had to like recast the lead. um so of course it happens, and that goes back to like this is exactly why we audition. It's like
Yeah.
it's to see how people show up, and because it's more than learning your lines, it's more
Hmm.
like it's like, yeah, if you're game to read, then like it also shows a bit of like, okay, like then your game, you're gonna be good to have on set. You're a team player. It's like there's more to it, you know?
Yeah. How do you,
So
oh,
that
sorry.
was crazy.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
You're good.
That, oh, I was gonna say, how's the difference been between, I guess, I've never been up to Canada to audition for anything,
Yeah.
but how would it change for you all between being in person and self-taping? How's that been up there, I guess?
Um, I mean, it's the same, like like the pro of it is we're able to see more people.
Uh-huh.
Because we're not like bound to like the audition days, you know, like the hours of audition days. Um, and I guess it opens up a little bit like that we could see people from other provinces.
Okay.
But I do miss like that connection. Like we're not a large community. Like we're a strong community here in Montreal, but like we're not flush with actors, you know,
Oh,
like
okay.
California, like New York, like even
Yeah.
Toronto or Vancouver. Like our market here is pretty small. Um, but so I miss seeing people like, you know, on a weekly basis pretty much, but
Yeah.
we are good at like networking, and there's a big theater community. So I mean, yeah, going to self tapes, it really was just a we have to adapt, you know,
Yeah.
like it's just, um, and there's certain things that I do prefer about self tapes, and that like I found I was always, like I was always so nervous about like the whole camera setup, like if a director was coming and like making sure the mic
Oh,
worked and the camera worked and my internet was okay and like are they going to be able to use like what they need? So it was like you're hosting these directors, maybe producers for an audition day, and like that would always get me really nervous.
yeah.
Because it's like, you have your job and you want to make sure everyone's coming on time and like the scheduling of it, it's like you don't want to waste a minute. So it's like, am I better off like having the actors wait? I don't want the director to wait. So it's always like this.
Yeah.
And that gave me like a lot of anxiety. So like not having to do that, we experienced that a little bit with callbacks, but
Okay.
a lot of our casting directors here got rid of their offices, including me. So like we'll go to like a casting studio and they
Okay.
take care of the tech. So all I have to worry about is the schedule, which is great.
Yeah.
But I hated doing that. So for me, that works out well.
Okay.
That I don't have to like have, like the best cameras and microphones and lighting and, a soundproof space. Like that was tough for me.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I bet. And then here's another question I have for you. When it came to you casting shows or because you mainly worked in shows, films, or just a mixture of all?
Sort of a mixture, like a lot of it was TV, I would say. And
Okay,
then
perfect.
I worked with another casting director. We started working together during COVID, and I was her associate for like larger US productions that came to Montreal. So we worked
Okay.
on like Transformers, and
Really?
so we're not doing the leads, but we're doing everyone in the middle. And Karate Kid, we did together,
Oh,
the
wow.
latest one.
Okay.
So again, yeah, not the leads, not extras, but like, the chunk in the middle. So,
Yeah. What was that process like for you? So let's say with you casting even either TV or Karate Kid, did you ever come across you discover some people that either A came from a bigger agency or B a smaller agency, or what was that? How did it feel for you maybe discovering someone for the first time that you didn't know about up there?
um, like for people that we've cast,
Yeah.
well, generally, like if it's something from the US, we're generally looking at locals because, um, that's the budget. It's like, no, we don't have, like the
The
leads are
ability to
coming
fly
in from
people out.
everywhere. And then especially Karate Kid, there was so much like special skills, but it was a pretty tricky mandate because we had to find kids that could act and also had a bit of a karate background, and some even had to speak Mandarin.
Ooh.
So, and then it's like we're in Montreal. It's like, where are we finding these
Yeah.
kids? So
Yeah.
that was a tricky one, but really fun. And I remember one Saturday we actually auditioned so many kids because, after school stuff, like so
Yeah.
they're not in school, but these kids were in so many like so many activities. It was wild. They're like, yeah, we could
Okay.
come in between our like piano practice and swim meet. Like, they're just so busy. Anyway, kids are great. But discovering, so all to say is like for those US productions,
Yeah.
I don't find we're really like the mandate is really just to like find people that really fit the role. It's not
Um,
um it's less about like really looking wide and trying to find some like we really, but yes, we had to open it up across Canada to find those like Mandarin speaking Karate Kid minors that could
yeah.
also act. So yeah, that was across Canada, which was really cool. Um and for the TV series, yeah, I guess like again it comes from like the network or studio, right? So for TV, like when we're looking for leads, they're gonna want someone who's probably done leads before, who is
Yeah.
recognizable. So I can't really say we discovered anyone in that way.
Okay.
But then there's like, yeah, just like fun, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird to say that I've discovered
Oh
anybody,
yeah,
I
no, it's
find.
just don't worry about it at all. The reason I asked that is because we have
Yeah.
a lot of the casting directors and casting associates I work with that come on the show, and then I've had people that are in the casting community that I haven't worked with yet, but came on. Sometimes like I discovered this one person that was amazing and changed my life. So that's just why I kind of asked that question.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't know if I have um I don't know if I have any like moments like that per se,
Okay.
but like I guess lately I've been like sort of talking a lot about online about actors getting into like content creation.
Ooh,
Um,
tell us about that. I'm curious.
Yes, because so first of all, I'm not saying to like become an influencer, like to
Yeah.
just build your following to build a following. And I have zero against influencers. I actually have worked with some, and it's insane to see their influence in action. And like, so that is one pillar. My whole thing about actors becoming content creators is really just like so we could get to know you like a bit of your personality. So it's
Yeah.
not even to like, some people are great like you have your podcast. So I'm at like I would actually be curious to know if like you've gotten any like attention from a casting director and gotten any like acting gigs because of your podcast.
Uh, I've been, let's see, that's the interesting part. So I did get called in for some reality TV show from the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one thing that has happened. Acting wise, I'm very blessed because I've worked in all the major markets of the United States. So most casting directors know me already.
Yes. Okay, fair.
So it's and I did that from being in person, starting with them in person. So
Yeah.
I've been in business for 16 years. But reality TV is the thing where reality TV casting directors started coming to me for stuff.
Cool. Would you ever do it?
I would, and the reason I would do that now is because I think I have a pretty good personality, or I like to think anyway, and I would now because it would give us an opportunity to be seen on a bigger scale,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just continue to just build up my brand and the podcast, which is my ultimate goal. Because every person we have on, I want their stories out to the world as we're doing. So
Yeah.
by me being on a reality TV show, that would put our brand of the show. It would help me out tremendously, but it would also help everyone that's on the show because I want people to realize that our show is educational to where people can learn about positions and stuff like that and learn
Yeah.
from it. So I would.
Yeah.
The answer to that is yes.
Cool. Okay. Awesome.
But if it works out one day, sure. If it doesn't, I still have my acting.
Yeah. Exactly. Awesome.
When you
Yeah,
say,
so
go ahead, yeah,
yeah, no, I was just gonna say because like so I've like most actors were actually relieved to hear me say that like you could, post about your life. And
yeah,
some are like, I've worked as a casting director and it will definitely close some doors for you. And, like there's a real like split of like what's going on. And
yeah,
like and I just think that like I'll share two stories of
yeah.
where
Please
it
do.
like really came into like it was necessary, I found. And
Okay.
again, it's not about the follower count, so then you're more appealing because you're like you have the following to book a lead. It's
Yeah.
not even about that. It's really like to know like a personality.
Hmm.
Like even so I was casting for this like horror thriller movie and we needed to find this like sexy woman in a red dress. And we looked, we did the normal channels of going through all the actors, posting the breakdown and whatever. And we weren't really finding what we needed and what really the director wanted within the actor community. So we're like, okay, let's go into the modeling community. But modeling community, I don't work with models
Yeah.
often. So I'm like, I don't know their personality, but this scene needed someone with a personality. It was this whole like sci-fi, like the whole restaurant was like tripping out on magic mushrooms. There was a fight scene. Like it was really like wild. So I'm like, we need someone with a personality, but like I'm coming in with like, no, I don't know who these people are. So then
Yeah.
like with models, they always have all their social media linked. And one of them that I clicked on, like I saw her TikTok and her Instagram, and she was funny and you could see her personality. And
Yeah.
that's honestly what made me call her in to
Ooh.
audition her because here I am looking at like from one agency 12 models who had told their agent they're interested in acting. So it's
Yeah.
like, but how, and like we were in crunch time, sorry.
Oh no,
We
you're
were
good.
we were in crunch time. So I'm like, we don't have time to necessarily see all 10, 12. And that was just from one agency. I'm like, we need to
Yeah.
narrow it down. How am I narrowing it down? And I was like, oh, this girl is funny. I see her
Mhm.
personality, like I could see us working with her. And
Yeah.
so we went on the Zoom and it ended up being like great. She was great. She was game. She was, and fit the role perfectly. And that was
Awesome.
because I saw her personality on social media, not her
Yeah.
acting, not anything else, you know? And something similar happened to me when I had to cast like an actor as a stripper and we
Okay.
couldn't cast we couldn't cast like a real stripper. So
Yeah.
I needed to find an actor who was truly comfortable with pole dancing, with lap dancing, like with all of that. Not every person is, you know?
Yeah.
So I remember I cast this girl and she's like, yeah, I've done some like music videos in lingerie and I'm comfortable and whatever. And she got on set and she froze.
Oh,
And I was like,
really? Oh,
geez, like,
wow.
yeah. And again, I'm not blaming her. Maybe it was the environment, maybe it was the other actors in the scene, whatever it was, but she was uncomfortable, you
Yeah.
know? And then, funny enough, I had another episode where I needed another stripper.
Yeah.
And again, I remembered from social media this actress who like is just a very sexual person, is very comfortable with her body and, you know, is into dance and into all these things. I was like, she would be the right person. And I know actors like to think they can do everything, but
Yeah.
not, you can't do everything, you know?
No.
But just knowing who she was at her core, I
Yeah.
was like, she would be good for this. And it ended up working out. And so that's what I mean, where we like, as a casting director, like I like to like peruse social media a little bit to get to know who you are a little bit, like,
Yeah.
because I think that plays into the casting process and what you bring to a role. So,
I'm
yeah.
glad you said that. No, I'm
Yeah.
very glad you said that. I'm also going to make you laugh just in case you didn't see the clip. So I got called in the strip for Betty White one time.
I saw that clip.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. So okay. Well, I'm a really good dancer. I've
Yeah.
always been a really good dancer, and I have never felt so confident. I actually still have. I recorded the whole entire process, even the audition I went into that day. But I've
Yeah.
never been so confident going into that audition. I ended up stripping for two male casting directors who were like that. That is the best we have seen all day. And I started off in a three-piece suit. And then I
Wow.
ended up booking it. My agent laughed. We filmed that in front of a live audience of like 70 plus people. Every producer, executive, and anybody associated with that studio came to see Betty White, which is
Yeah.
honestly, I love Betty White. Everybody is by stage, but I have never felt so confident in my life. And this is what Betty said to me, and I'll never forget it. She said, that was the best day of work she's ever had in her lifetime. And
Oh my
I always say she
God.
might have been lying, but at that time, she gave me that confidence because I wasn't that, I had some insecurities just in general, not in that job, but in just insecurity out in life. And at
Yeah.
that moment, I developed all the confidence I needed from that. Like she gave me the tools I needed to
Mm.
go out and be successful. So that's always stuck with me. But I didn't freeze. In fact, I was having a good time. They didn't even. I made up the dance myself and all that. You know.
Well, listen, I think Magic Mike has a new live show in New York. If
Okay, yeah, I'll do it if they let me. Yeah. It's funny because I was always frustrated. I was like, man, I should have been called in for Magic Mike, and I never was. So when that opportunity came up, I'm like, okay, perfect. So,
Yeah,
but
that's so fun.
yeah, it really is. Question for you: what does chemistry mean when you see it?
What does chemistry mean when you
Yeah,
see it?
and chemistry. Whenever you are going about casting, what is chemistry? Whenever, like, if you see chemistry between someone, what does that mean to you? I guess, or
Good question. I mean, sometimes it's hard to pinpoint. It's more just like a feeling you get, like
Mhm.
where it's like you, like when you're like sort of doing a cold read or like chemistry with the, yeah. It's sort of like, yeah, you could just tell that like they're really in the moment and like they're feeding off of each other. Like you could just tell.
Yeah,
Even like body language and but I don't know. I mean, I find it
yeah,
hard to like verbalize, but like it's just
yeah.
something that you could see and you know, and I find like most people can see it. I don't think that's like distinct for casting directors. Like I remember like even I needed like my mom to come help me with an audition day one time.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like it's instinct. Like you could see, you know, like someone left the audition. And she's like, I don't know about that person. I was like, you're totally right. Like we're on the, you know, like so I think like a lot of people could tell, you know, like or if I'm home watching auditions or, you know, sometimes I'll have to be like, you know, sometimes you're just in this like vortex of like watching so many tapes. You're like, what am I watching? I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, can you just like give an eye to this or something?
Yeah.
And sometimes like they'll pick up on things that like I missed,
Yeah.
or whatever. But so I find it's hard to pinpoint or like describe it, but it's definitely like a feeling. Um, and that's why I started like comparing casting and dating because I
Oh
I
yeah,
just
tell us about that. You can get into that. Yeah.
because well, so I remember I actually went to look because in 2022 I like posted my first video about comparing casting and dating. But at that
Okay.
point I was married and not dating. So like, but then I got divorced and I started dating and I'm like, wow, there are so many similarities. And one of the first things I said was that of chemistry. Like I
Okay.
find like I was so pretty much in real short, like when you're out dating, you sort of like have a list of like things you're looking for or your non-negotiables or whatever, and you
Yeah.
go out and so maybe you're going to go out on a date and everything is great. It's a great date, nice person, they check all your boxes, they want a family, they want, they have their life and whatever it is you're looking for.
Yeah.
But there isn't chemistry, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean they're a bad person, doesn't mean they're
Yeah.
going to make a bad partner, but it's just not for you. It's just like not that match. And it's very similar in casting in that someone could check off the boxes of the breakdown. Yep,
Mhm.
they're male, 30 to 40, whatever we're looking for, has a vulnerability, has whatever it is, and then they read for the role and they're good, they deliver,
Yeah.
but it's not it's not that match with the
Yeah.
role based on the environment, based on whatever. So it's like the same thing. And it doesn't mean they're a bad actor, doesn't mean they're not right for another role, doesn't mean they're not going to, whatever. It's just not, there's no chemistry with that role, with that actor and that role.
Okay.
Um, so that's how I like, I mean, that's just that was part one, I think,
Yeah,
was character.
Continue. You're welcome to go. You have the floor. Please continue.
Oh my God. No, I mean, there was so many, even like with profiles,
Okay.
like on dating profiles, how
Really
people like
break
will
this
have
down for me.
they'll
Yeah.
have like old pictures or even like talking about connection. There's some men that like have sunglasses in every single picture on their dating profile. I'm like, I can't connect with you. I don't see your eyes.
Yeah.
It's a swipe for me. I'm like, no, I need to see your eyes. That's how I connect. In your self
Yeah.
tapes, we have to see your eyes. You have to be visible. Like that's an easy way to connect with casting is
Yeah.
literally through the eyes, right? Like that's film and TV. So but also like embellishing a profile or not, like your acting profile really should be a representation of you because there's nothing worse than like requesting a self tape and
Uh-huh.
then with a profile and then getting a tape and you're like, who is this person? And it's not reflective of what you saw on their profile.
Yeah.
Similar with dating. I mean, not as much as like catfishing, but like there's people who have such outdated photos
Yeah.
and then you show up on a date and you're like, who
Hmm.
is this person?
Yeah. Why are
And
you
I just
lying?
find it's such a turn off in both scenarios. Like, just
Yeah.
tell me who you are. We're gonna find out eventually. So you might as well be honest?
Yeah. Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I really, you're funny, by the way, if no one's told you that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I never really looked that deep into it when I'm dating somebody because I guess I'm never looking, and then I happen to find someone by accident when I usually do. It's just when I'm not
Yeah.
looking that I find someone that I end up dating. I guess that
Right.
kind of how it works with my thing.
Yeah.
But that's really funny that you break. I guess you're right when you're breaking it down like that. The fact that you are sometimes, I guess, if you're looking towards marriage or something, or if you're really seriously dating, you would be, hey, does this person check those boxes? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to get myself in trouble with anything, but I know there's certain things where I'm like, ah, that's a problem
Yeah.
because I'm allergic. It's like-
Well, you're allowed to have preferences. That's
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
You shouldn't be like reprimanded for having a preference. Like that's
absolutely,
totally fine.
yeah.
Um,
I'm like, am I willing
yeah.
to die over this right now? Because I'm like, I know the minute that I get there, I'm gonna be allergic. Like, I know it's gonna hit me with something that's allergic. So it's funny. I think about that sometimes, but then I power through. I power through every time.
Yeah.
But it's just
That's
I think
hilarious.
about that. It's just one thing. What are
Yeah.
some common mistakes people? What are some common mistakes people make when presenting themselves? You think?
Um, I think what are some mistakes? Good question. I'm not
Okay.
really Like when they present themselves like in their profiles that we're looking through or like
Or it could just be in the audition itself. Like it could be in the audition, a mistake that you see people make whenever they're coming in the audition, or either through their self tapes or back. I guess in person wouldn't matter necessarily so much anymore. But whenever they are doing their self tape, what are some mistakes you might come across? Like maybe they are holding the script in their hand. If people still do that, I don't know if people do or not. They might. Is there anything you see they might do that might you might not be?
yeah, it's true. Some people do are great at cold reading.
Yeah.
Like if you're really good at it, I'm obviously fine because especially in a self-tape, we shouldn't be able to tell, right?
Yeah.
But there's some people who are still reading on a self-tape, and I find that
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
So I think that, and I think like read the instructions that we're giving you. We're
Yeah.
giving you instructions not to be annoying, not to be like, it's literally to help you because we know how we have to deliver everything to the production, you know?
Yeah.
So if it's like, we generally ask, I don't know about you, but like, I want separate clips, right? So
Okay. Yeah. They do. Yeah.
if you have like two scenes and you're doing two takes per scene, I don't want them all in one take. I don't want an 8-minute video.
Yeah.
I want it separate clips. Why? Because it will benefit you because it's like, oh, if I like your take two more, then
Mhm.
I could manipulate the order and how we're presenting you to production, to the director. You know, even the slate, are we putting it at the front or the back? Like, you know, I want the ability to put in the order that works best for you.
Okay.
You know, and then sometimes when we do work with another casting director, like for example, on um Transformers, like we were pretty much working with the US casting director and she had a totally different casting system than us. So we
Okay.
had to like download everything from our system, upload it to their system, and they had their own labeling order that they did, and we had to respect what they did because they were
Yeah.
the ones then presenting it to production. So there's always a reason behind certain explanations or
Yeah.
instructions, and it's really not to make you crazy. It's truly like, A, we want to present you in the best way possible,
Okay.
and yeah, and then yeah, exactly. Like just read that sometimes we need different things in your slate based on your location or a special skill, or we want to know like something about you, you know? And some people just omit it. So then we
Yeah.
have to then go back and be like, hey, do they have their license? Or like, I mean, or like, do they speak this language? They didn't say it in their slate. And we ask for like, you know, and then we're
Yeah.
following up with so many people, and it's like, we just need to know, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so things like that, I find
Okay.
like those, you know, because I find in general, like, and I guess that's the other point I'm always trying to make is like, in general, people are doing good work.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's not like I'm seeing like people who don't know how to audition. There's no massive mistakes. It's really just like, yeah, it didn't go your way, but it's
Yeah.
not like there's nothing you could have done more in my, like, I would say for like 90%
Yeah.
of people I'm auditioning, it's not like, whoa, like, where did this person sneak in from, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I just find, yeah, like there's really not, yeah.
Okay.
And like the basics, like of course, like I said, be visible, like don't be
Yeah.
too shadowed out. We want to hear you, we want to see you, and we want to connect with you. Like
Yeah.
so eye line is huge, you know, and I guess your camera placement is very important. Um, but no major no
Okay.
major mistakes.
Hey, no worries at all. This is for you personally now. How
Yeah.
have you learned to handle rejection personally?
By experience.
Yeah.
And just like you realize like your world doesn't end from
Mhm.
rejection. And I guess I've become even more spiritual, and it's just
Okay.
like
So, yeah.
rejection is protection, and if this is not meant for me, then there's something better. And that's truly like where I live mentally, you know.
Yeah.
um yeah,
No, I love that.
if it was meant for me, it wouldn't pass me, so we move on.
Hey, amen. These are all for you. These next questions are going to be all for you personally.
Okay.
Was there ever a moment you questioned your path?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, let's hear about
After every contract. So I'm
it.
self-employed. I'm self-employed, right? And that's what I
Okay,
said,
yeah.
where like
It's a
actors and
grind.
casting directors are very similar. Like we have to bid on a project.
Yeah.
We have to read a full script, understand what it is, give our quotes, and then
Really?
hope to get hired. That's how a lot of it happens.
Mhm.
Um, or we build relationships with different producers, line producers here in the city, and then that's who hires us over again. But sometimes, yeah, of course, I am technically my own business, as you are as an actor. I
Yeah.
have to go out and find contracts, and a lot of it is just based on our past experience, our style,
Yeah.
our taste, our.
All right.
Um, but truthfully, like, yeah, after every contract, like when I'm in a contract, I'm so distracted. I was like, I love casting. This is great. Like,
Yeah.
I'm busy, I'm working, I'm talking to actors, working with actors, and I love it. And then it stops and I'm like, okay, well, like what's next? Like, and it's just like
Yeah.
this moment of panic of like, okay, what now? Maybe I have to find a job. And
Yeah.
and then I get a call, oh, we have a contract. Okay, great. And then like so then I'm distracted again and I'm like in a contract and it's great. But yeah, I'm like a lot of the time I'm like, is this a good cycle to be in of like
Yeah.
contract lull, contract lull, contract lull. And it's just like so then I question it. I'm like, maybe I need to figure something else out
Okay.
sometimes.
That sounds good to
So
me. Yeah.
yeah.
And you can answer this when you want to, or if you want to go past it, we can. What did your divorce teach you about yourself, if anything? We can skip over it if you want to.
Um, it's that like, well, I guess it was the little like nudge. it I knew it wasn't good, the marriage, the
Yeah.
relationship, but I was definitely fearful to leave.
Yeah.
Fear of judgment, fear of hurting my partner, fear of so many things.
Yeah.
But it was more just like growing the strength to like realize like I want a better life, I want a different life, and
Yeah.
then like having the confidence to do that. And it was definitely like my sister who said to me, she's like, like divorce is an option. Like she's a
Yeah.
divorce lawyer, by the way.
Okay. Oh, we might have to have her on the show too, if she would ever do it.
And just her saying that, like,
Yeah.
sort of like, I don't want to say normalized it to me, but it was just like, she still let me come to my own decision at my own
Yeah.
time. But it was just like hearing that, it was just like, okay, like I wouldn't be judged for making that decision. And I
Uh-huh.
think that, like, having that support in that way was huge because it wasn't like she was telling me to do this or else, or like, do you know what I mean? It was very much
Yeah.
like, just so you know, like, you don't have kids, you don't like, it would be easy. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like a big divorce where like you have a home together and kids and your whole lives are intertwined. Like it would be relatively easy. And I'm like, yeah. So then, you know,
Yeah.
then the uncomfort in the marriage became stronger than the fear of the unknown,
I like that. No, wait, I like the way you said that
you
because that could be
know?
something for life too.
Totally. Yeah, like everyone has a breaking point.
Absolutely.
So like that, the uncomfort in that relationship was outweighing the fear of what, like of what could be, will I find someone again? Will I,
Yeah.
all of that. So yeah. And
Okay.
my nephew did call me a queen during my divorce. He's like,
Hey,
you're
we like that.
like a queen.
Yeah.
So that also
Hey,
gave me some good confidence.
absolutely. Absolutely. So you are the fun auntie. Um,
Yeah.
what tells you if someone is truly authentic?
Like again, like a bit of a feeling. I don't know.
It's okay.
I'm like
No, no, it's okay. It's just a
I'm like a
question.
vibes person.
Yeah.
Like, and you could read through the shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, you could feel it.
Yeah.
So,
You remind me of a New Yorker, but you're in Montreal. It's so strange. You said Montreal,
well,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, you're so much like a New Yorker. It's so strange that like it just it you were a New Yorker through and through. I'm a New Yorker at heart too, but just the way you talk and
yeah.
everything, it seems like you'd be in New York, but you're in Montreal, unless there's some
That's
similarities
so
there that I don't
funny.
know about.
Well,
Um,
Montreal is a pretty like tough city. Like,
okay, I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. We're very. I find we're very authentic here in
Okay,
Montreal.
I love that.
Yeah. Like, there's a good. Um, it's a great city.
Okay,
Yeah, you should definitely come visit sometime. Like
yeah, I'm
it's
gonna have to.
yeah, it's great.
because you're definitely a great representative. If they're anything like you, I'm all for it.
Good. We need more productions to come here.
Okay, oh, well, acting wise, I would go up there in a heartbeat. In a
Yeah.
heartbeat. If I booked, I've been trying to work in Canada for what, 15 years. If I ever have
Wow.
the opportunity to work up there, I would love to do it. Because I think The Boys filmed up there, I think. But I could be
Yeah.
wrong. Okay, yeah, it does. Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
It's cool, cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen someone hold back out of fear?
Yeah. I think so. Like you could tell when someone is like afraid to like go for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Connect Four.
and what?
I said Connect Four. Go for it. Connect Four. Just long story short, but go
Um,
ahead.
yeah, and I think that's something that casting directors do is like we could see if someone is either just nervous
Yeah.
or unprepared.
Ooh,
We could sort of tell that it's like, no, no, they're not ready for this, or this is nerves, but like we see something there,
yeah.
and then that's when we know it. Like, do we push? Do we not? Do we, is this what they showed up with? It's hard to work with someone who's not prepared.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, so
Oh,
yeah, but definitely we could see through the fear and yeah,
all right. Well, that works for me. What does feeling safe mean to you?
feeling safe.
Yeah.
Um, just like a judgment free to be yourself. Yeah, with no risk of anything.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
That
I mean,
works.
in an audition space is different than like in a relationship, I guess.
Yeah. It could be either
Um,
or. Yeah. No, it could be to you personally if that's what it means to you personally. It doesn't have to be an audition sense.
yeah, it's really just like the freedom and ability to be myself through and through without fear of judgment, fear of the abandonment, fear of anything,
Yeah.
and just like unconditional care and love.
Okay. I like that. That works for me.
Yeah.
Um, what does it mean for you to choose yourself? I think that's a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one. To choose myself, yeah, I never really understood the whole thing of like take care of yourself and then you'll be the best version for everyone else. But I
Yeah.
think I'm starting to like
Get with the program.
realize that, when you prioritize yourself, like, then you're fulfilled, you're fed, and then you have more energy and love to give to others.
Yeah.
I definitely would distract myself by caring for others
Yeah.
first, a lot of the time. I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess I'm like working on those boundaries of like, no, I want my alone time right now. I need to just like
Yeah.
just focus. I need the quiet. I need,
Yeah.
and then, next day I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to socialize. I'm ready to do whatever. And
Absolutely.
I could show up fully for other people, but I
Yeah.
need that balance of my space for sure.
Absolutely. My mom says sometimes it's like it's in the airport, put an oxygen mask on yourself first before helping others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that's one she would have thrown in there for sure. All right, so hey, we're almost done. This is a lightning round, and you've been phenomenal, by the way, and I like you as a
Oh, thank
person too.
you.
So
Thank
these are
you.
just can be one off or as long as you want them to be.
Okay.
But first impression or lasting impression?
Lasting.
Okay.
I Yeah. I
All right.
think because it's the same with consistency. Like yes, first impressions are important, but yet like people, I'm all about second chances and like people could prove themselves and like, but through action, through consistent action, that compounding
Yeah.
is definitely more like holds more weight than a first impression to me.
Okay, I like that, and that's so true. Self tape or in person?
I like the mix. I like self-tape first round. I love
Yeah.
a in person for callbacks and chemistry, and so then you could sort of feel the vibe once you're sort of narrowed down.
Okay.
So I that's sort of what we've been doing here. At least I have, more or less, and I
Okay.
like that balance and that mix.
All right. That sounds good. Gut or overthinking? Go with your gut or overthinking? I think that's what we're basically saying.
Gut always, the
Yeah.
intuition. Yeah,
All right, I'm with it. Chemistry or credentials?
chemistry.
Hmm, I like that. Biggest red flag.
Oh.
That can be in general.
Mm, something that I really is like a little like not self-aware and like this ignorance of like where you are. Like just and that's more in like in life. I don't like people who are just not self-aware,
Yeah.
like uh, someone talking like very loudly, but like we're all wait in a waiting room
Yeah.
or yeah, like people who just like look dumb sometimes. Like I can't there's some people who just like have like looks on their face where they just like look so I don't know,
Aloof?
like
Is that the word? Aloof? I don't think I've ever used that
maybe.
before, but I think aloof. I don't think I've ever used that in my lifetime, but I think it's aloof. Aloof might be the word for that. I could be wrong. I gotta double check it. But if I were to,
Yeah.
what you're
I
describing
don't think
sounds like.
you're I don't think you're stupid. I'm not really sure what aloof means at all, but it could
Double
mean
check it.
that.
But I don't.
But like a little like eh,
Spacey? Loopy?
yeah. Yeah. I'm like, come on. Like
Yeah, get it together. Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like, yeah. Sometimes you have those people, and somehow they survive horror movies all the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
one word for a great performer.
Uh, a great enthusiastic.
Okay. I like that. I can dig it. Let's see here. One thing actors should stop doing.
Stop like listening to everything they see online and use more discernment.
Yeah.
Like if you hear something, read something, like just check yourself. Like, does this work for me or not? And
Yeah.
not to just like take action on something that you heard once, like audit yourself. Like, does this work for me? Is this
Yeah.
for me? Or maybe it's not, and that's okay, and like move past it. Also, don't be like a negative troll online.
Yeah. Oh no, you find those all over the place. All over the place. I like
So,
both of those you said. Coffee or tea?
coffee.
Okay. Favorite project type?
Well, honestly, I started my career with like docu-drama reenactments
Okay.
and I worked so closely with the researchers, the writers, the directors, the producers, and I loved just like and then also because it was smaller budget and local stuff, like it went on for 7 seasons. We did like 80 something episodes.
Holy smokes, yeah.
And it was just something that like actors and talent agents, like everyone just knew the drill. And it just became like, okay, we need to find lookalikes. And so it wasn't like these grandiose searches. It was very like,
So,
yeah, it became a little formulaic, but still like it got me to know all the talent in Montreal, all the agents. And there was something just like so nice about it. There was no politics, there was no big names. It was just like nice, you
yeah.
know? And so something like that I really like. And so yeah, maybe it doesn't sound as exciting for people looking at your resume or whatever. Um, but like honestly, like more of like the indie local shows where like
Okay.
I could really become close to the directors and speak
Yeah.
with them and have those conversations and talk to them about the talent. And, when we're working on bigger US productions, it doesn't feel as creative,
Yeah.
honestly. So it's more just yeah, and I do like the creative process. I do like championing the talent. So like I like having that closeness with the director.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes there's like, a movie that is an amazing script and I don't know when that's out, but I did casting for a feature and
Okay.
it was just like a solid team. The director was great. This young guy, it was his first feature. Amazing cast that came from the US, but we did all the other roles and just the story was so impactful. And so, then projects like that I love too, is
Okay.
when you just feel like you're part of like a bigger story and a bigger message.
Yeah.
So um that either like
Okay.
amazing
Docudramas
story
or like
or like
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
not even docudrama, really
Okay.
like sorry, like a project that like I'm more involved in the creative process,
Uh,
and like I say the docudrama, it was really fun. It was all about marriages ending in murder.
Okay. Oh, those are entertaining for some reason. Like I
I
watch those
know.
like crazy. So does my mom.
Yeah. So we did like, yeah, so many of those. But it was just something that like locally the actors knew about. So like by season two, three, like they knew the drill. Either they were in or they were not. And like
Yeah.
I had to find the match, but also like solid talent with the match. And then even you like we saw the production value go up, from season to season. At first it was
Yeah.
like silent on camera, all these leads, but then now they're like, okay, there's some dialogue. So even the audition process changed. So it was really cool to like be a part of that, like from
Okay.
beginning to end and just like working, yeah, tight with the whole production and casting and all that.
Okay. Also, I just want to save myself for a second. I'm not some psycho that said they're entertaining. I happen to watch those like the wife and
Oh,
murder ones. I was just
oh,
thinking about that. I was
honestly,
like,
I don't even watch them. Like
it,
but
it
so I
it's
take no
insane.
offense, but it
It's
was
like
really
really
fun to work
insane.
on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really fun to work
Um,
on.
but that's amazing that you were able to work on those. And I like the fact you
Yeah,
said you want to be more personable and have be able to fulfill your creative dreams with it too, and be able to have a part of it. So I think that's amazing. Two more
yeah,
questions, and then we're all done. Uh,
yeah.
casting as dating. So casting as dating. Biggest green flag.
Um, I think it is. It's the enthusiasm. Like you have to want to be there.
Yeah.
You have to want to be on the date. You have to want to do the self-tape. And I always say, like, if you don't have the capacity for it, if you don't have the bandwidth, the desire, then you could pass on a self-tape if you want. You don't have to accept every single self-tape.
Yeah.
And if you're not vibing, if you're not feeling it, pass on the date. Like just
Yeah.
don't go. It takes effort and energy to go on a date, to prep for a self-tape, all of these things. Again, audit yourself. How do you feel? Do you have the capacity for it? Are you feeling it? Yes, no. Make
Yeah.
your decision off that, you know? So I said enthusiasm again. Is that what it
Yeah.
was?
You
Yeah.
did. Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. And then, if you could go back and tell your, here's my final question. If you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self anything, what would it be?
I was thinking about this.
Boom.
Um, get out of your own way.
Really?
Yeah. I was
Interesting.
always like the inner voice was like I was so not confident, so fearful, like so many things and it was all myself,
Yeah.
and it's just like yeah, like step aside, move over, like let's go, you know?
Absolutely. I'm
So yeah.
um I'm glad you answered that, and I'm glad you said what you said because that's one of the reasons I have our demographic is big from 18 all the way to 64. We have a big demographic.
That's
And
so cool.
I my goal with the youth is even me, as I said, I was insecure forever and not didn't have that confidence. So I thank you so much for sharing what you just said just there with that, getting out of your own way, because a lot of people at 18 don't know that. But to hear someone in of your caliber, or how we have other guests come in here and say, hey, like, look, we might have this age gap there, but I was where you are. And then you're
Yeah.
about to face those same challenges that I went through in lifetime. So by having someone like you and the other guests we have come on, that's really important, I think.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I absolutely like just believe in yourself and don't fear losing opportunities for being who you are. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, Jess Greenberg, correct? I pronounced that correct?
Yeah.
You have been absolutely phenomenal today. I appreciate you bringing your realness, the Montreal, New Yorkness to with you as well, and taking
Yeah.
time out of your busy schedule to come and talk. It's meant the world to me, and I really appreciate your time. Is there anywhere that you want people to be able to find you on social media or a web page or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Greenberg casting underscore, because I couldn't remember my password for Greenberg casting. So then I had to create a new one with the underscore.
Okay.
And same thing on TikTok, Greenberg
Okay.
casting
Perfect.
on TikTok.
Perfect.
And that's where I talk more about my dating and some other things. I keep my my more professional stuff on Instagram.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm online and thank you so much for having me. It was great to chat with you.
Absolutely. I think Mama Rush probably definitely want to have you back so you can talk the dating side of things, most likely.
Yeah, I could probably maybe use her wisdom.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
always,
Jake. Yeah. Sure. We will 100% have you back on because my mom
Okay.
she asked the best questions, I think, and she'll have a lot of good stuff for you. But I can't
Okay,
tell you how
good.
many things, like you said, discernment before, that there were certain words that you said that my mom has always mentioned to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's
Yeah.
setting up exactly what my mom would say. So, my mom,
Cool.
I appreciate you in this. Well, Jess, we
Awesome.
appreciate you. We give everyone a round of applause.
Thank
Just send me
you.
a photo and I'll have this done in a couple hours.
Okay. Whoa.
Yeah, I work pretty fast. You know how it is. I just from working in the business, you got to have things like that. So I have it
It's
done.
true.
Absolutely. Well,
Wow.
Jess,
Awesome.
you have
Thank
a
you so
wonderful
much.
day and take care.
You too. Nice
Bye.
meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see here.